I hate to think I misjudged you that bad, but I get this job isn't for everyone. Overall, not bad for a novice.
Damn it! Not today!
Let me explain. I really hope so. Laredo is far from squeaky clean, and believe me, we've got our own eyes out for their moves as well.
Ularu is the mole! You're making a big mistake!
No, but try to see that as an improvement, since I certainly do. Aha. Nice to see my favorite op hasn't lost the ability to reason.
They're ready. Best operative I've ever hired.
Which is exactly why discretion is needed here. I hate the idea of uprooting my life, but I'd have no choice at that point. It'll take a lot more than a fancy resume to reach that high, but I can appreciate a lofty goal. Asako wants to see you in her office. That's why I said it'd be impossible for me to intentionally pull this off. That's what I get for trying to be nice, eh? I worked with Ularu for a long time, and I thought I knew her. An obvious misjudgment. I'm trying to be reasonable here. I hope you take your promotion as a compliment. Once we get that keycard, that research is as good as ours. Don't get too comfortable. Those who do usually don't last long in this field. I'd say postponed is more appropriate here. If the two are meeting to work out a contract, that tells us Infinity must be looking to get into the ship business. And we'd like to delay that, if we can.
I can't believe you turned on me!
We'll have our research and development team take a look. As long as Ularu still thinks I'm on the run, she'll remain confident that her plan is working. Well, if you want to see payments in full, I suggest you start making those messages more subtle. Masako is furious, and our team is pulling overtime to make sure Ryujin can't be connected to any of it. All's fair when it comes to capitalism, right? I can't believe I didn't see this coming. I knew she'd send you after me. And I couldn't pass up the opportunity to take you out. You experienced the majority of what we do here during your training, if you recall. Oh, I can. Because it's exactly the kind of work I used to deliver back when I was in your shoes. No arguments here. But that morally gray area corporations enjoy working in gets darker every day. I'm promoting you to junior operative. The position is a bit more complicated and completely confidential. Don't worry. As long as you look the part and your memory doesn't fail you, this should be easy. And believe me, by the time our engineers are through, Trident won't even recognize it. No, that's not any more true than it was a minute ago. I can't stress enough how important it is to keep this job clean.
Okay, so, work details.
Please, you're not the type that needs to be babied. If it makes you feel better, consider it a formality. But in the meantime, thank you. I know you don't have to do this. Because she knows I'm the most believable target. Just remember, you can refer to the dossier at any time as a refresher. Well, it could be worse. You could be looking at a desk job like me. Don't have too much fun, and be careful.
Hey there. Well, this isn't awkward at all, right?
Maybe you're right.
Find the operative, do what you have to do, and don't worry if things get messy.
You know what? That does make sense. You may have zero education, but there's something to be said for a born leader. You really think I'd trust you after all you've done? You don't know what you're talking about. Also, if you ever want an honest opinion about anything, just ask them. Infinity is one of our bigger competitors, although throughout the years, they've taken to merely following in our footsteps. Well, you ops have a lot more freedom than any other position here. With that uniform, the guards will hardly look twice. We were talking? Trident specializes in luxury liner cruise ships. So, they aren't a direct competitor, but all ships run on similar basics. Good. We already have your first assignment ready and waiting. Sounds like if anyone came out on top here, it's you.
No, Simon's old school. So in order to confirm your identity, he likes to do code phrases.
You're relieving a security chief of their keycard so we can use it to gain access to a competitor's network.
Is that all you've got?
Welcome to the club. Operations is every bit the essential problem department of this corporation. Ha, you're even worse off than I thought. How motivated are you to succeed? Why do you want to work for Ryujin Industries? If you live in Neon long enough, it's not a surprise you'd start to see the darker side. We don't want to give any room for authorities to suspect foul play. I'm going to lay low here until I get a clear idea of where I stand. I can't have Ularu getting suspicious of being exposed. Nyx owed me a favor and gave me the heads up.
Put that back. Now.
Infinity has struggled with leadership and turnover for a long time now. Exactly. And that incompetence will be enough for them to further question this deal. You can call it what you like, but most importantly, it's your next assignment. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Operatives never have been known for their morals. It'll be interesting to see what Trident's been working on. Let's just hope this does the trick.
The moment Misako fires Ularu without solid evidence, she'll have a lawsuit on her hands.
I've got my orders, but maybe we can work something out. I know this doesn't look good, but I had no choice. If someone can't be persuaded with words, perhaps a more forceful approach is necessary? Well, then it sounds like we're in agreement.
Hold it right there, Op.
I need you to back down and give me a chance to explain. She basically led our neuroamp division until Ryujin's previous head of R&D and co-founder, Ray DeCaris, retired. Now, on to Arthur Cruz.
You just made the wrong choice.
Perhaps you're more cut out for this corporate world than I thought.
What do you think you're doing?
Huh. That makes a lot of sense, now that I think about it. Oh, and I'm sure I don't have to remind you that any incidents along the way are going to get deducted from your pay. I wish. Assignment approval isn't exactly riveting work. He's one of Quantum's best assets. Since they promoted him, their profits have risen over 37%. I'll be sure to let our marketing team know their phrases are catching on. The Terra Brew is past the spaceport, close to the trade tower. Try not to get distracted on your way there. Go check out the board. And if you have any questions, I suppose I can start up an open door policy. Just for you. All right. Let's just get this over with. Ah, negotiation. Now there's a true corporate skill. And one that can take you further than most. Ryujin Operations Department is tasked with securing the success of the business.
Boone appreciates credits, if you get my drift.
Now, I'm pretty sure I can get this deal pushed through, even with the sudden passing of our dear friend. Remember, details are always in your dossier to be referenced if you happen to forget anything again. Once again, Zola Adisa is the executive director for Quantum Synergies. We'll soon find out, won't we? Some call it retaliation, but we like to think of it as tough love. The mission board is where you receive your assignments from now on. I hope there's a way to work this out. Oh, and congratulations, of course.
Simon's been working with us for years now. I think he's still alive and trustworthy because he's just the right amount of paranoid.
Well, except for your little incident, that'll cost you. We want a clean and careful job. Obviously, we don't want any bad press at this point, or we could lose the deal. Once you're done with Infinity, I'm supposed to remind you to make sure you drop off that slate to David Barron at SSNN. I'm not trying to be a hard ass. I just can't go any lower. You may as well question the entire corporate world at that point. It's just... the thought of Ularu turning on me like this makes me sick. Oh, great. That'll be just what I need if this all blows over. Caution is key. Did you forget something? The task at hand, maybe? We can't deny that working with them would be beneficial for us. And Arthur is our best bet in making that happen. The Ark locates hard wiring and manipulates the information current being sent back and forth. Yes. At least something positive came out of this assignment. Look, I only know about Project Dominion because I wanted to know exactly what I was being accused of leaking. But that tech is dangerous. We've got a decent backlog of assignments, and they just keep coming, so I hope you're still good to go. And enjoy your time in Sidonia. It's certainly no Neon. In it, he's left his R&D uniform, along with his ID card, so you can get inside the department floor. Either look the part and be persuasive, or be quick with your hands. Hey there! Got that key card for me? I'm sure you'll be able to get that key card without incident. You might be right. But then, I come across people like you, and I'm reminded that ideas of fairness actually exist. Good. All you need to do is plant the Ark on the service panel of your target. We can handle the rest from here. I can only imagine. Good answer. And the one I was hoping for, since we learned of the incident before your return. Go on. You have more important things to do right now. I assume that means you know how to handle yourself in social situations, which is a decent plus in my book. I didn't think so, but the execs like to be sure.
Music to his ears.
Zola and Arthur are execs at Quantum Synergies, so be sure to treat them with respect. Just as long as you don't sound like you're reading out of a book. Just get what we need. You'll find him above the Lux condos in Sidonia's Plaza. Show up looking like an Ebbside street rat or mercenary for hire, and you're lucky if they'll even acknowledge you. Well, that was your mistake. I'm not the one with motive here. First, I'm not about to reboot my life. Oh, and only one of those qualities is of any use. I assume you know which one. This evidence will cast enough doubt that she'll never make CEO. So, at the very least, we'll both be ruined. Well, consider this a repayment then.
Since you've adequately proven you're good at getting in and out of places, this next assignment should be a nice change of pace.
Plus, it's hard to keep good employees when much better corporations who will pay more are out there. And to think she's probably living a guilt-free life. He keeps this place running with all the latest and greatest tech. So there's not much to complain about. You either sucked up to the wrong side, or you're dumber than you look. You've never been. It's just down the main walkway. Just go past the main spaceport terminal as if you're heading toward the trade tower. I knew I'd find you! If we don't get this deal, Masako is not going to be happy. Ularu's on the executive floor, so you've been given access. I look forward to those results. And yes, of course we know you have one. Yuko's algorithm at least hasn't failed us there. They're also one of few that Masako herself needs to sign off on, and only our most trusted operatives receive them.
We already have a team prepped to handle any fallout.
Now, I think it's time to examine a different set of skills. Good call. As long as it doesn't become a habit, we're good. It's in the commercial district where you're headed, right next to the Gilchrist building, which is almost impossible to miss. Wow. I never took you for the company Die Hard. Probably my first mistake. You may have zero experience, but leadership skills go far here. Ready for your next assignment? Here's the locker keycard. It's on the first general office floor. You can compare any one of our products to theirs and see it almost instantly. Well, with the exception of the occasional special request from Masako. A bold answer. And hopefully one with truth behind it. As for her talking points, the key things to remember are, Infinity is the cheap version of Ryujin. They're a follower, not a leader, and they lack any sense of clear vision.
Bayo wants us to take care of a little problem for him.
Talking points for Arthur are aimed at steering him toward Ryujin over Infinity Ltd. Excellent. I'll let Ularu know that we can start moving forward with our negotiations. Infinity Ltd's strategy to make money is to cut cost on quality. Well, it depends on the job, really. And finally, my last question. If you worked here for 5 years, what role would you see yourself in? I thought that might spark interest. You might have some heftier competition, but I know we hired 1 or 2 scientists based on actual work rather than education. If you need any further reminders, I'd suggest you read her dossier. Our technicians work hard for a reason. Personal. Huh. I suppose that's one way to put it. The truth is, he was getting overzealous in proving himself. He started writing up his own theories as facts and submitting them in his reports. We have a decent backlog of assignments, so you'll have plenty of chances to get back into good graces. Don't overlook those dossiers. If you're not a fan of reading, I suggest you get over it. First, you'll be dealing with high-level executives, and second, you'll be in the Astra Lounge here in Neon. I figured our paths would cross sooner or later. Are you kidding me? I hope Yuko enjoys taking over all of my responsibilities. Your target is a prototype schematic for a new engine that Trident Luxury Lines is working on.
Excuse me? That isn't yours.
Tell Ularu what you want. Either way, this will be the last time anyone sees me as Imogene Salzo. No one likes overtime. Besides, you're new here, and we're still examining your strengths and weaknesses. Go on. Not that I'm going to argue, since I feel the same. So, next question. The man runs Neon and has ties to anything significant here, including Ryujin. According to the rumors, it's projected to be 17% more efficient than any engine on the market. Exactly. A very valuable lesson that they will hopefully learn from.
Oh, we will be. We all showed our hands this round, Ularu included.
I'm still willing to talk. Look, if you just bring this slate to Dalton, I'm sure he'll understand. But if I go with you, everything is ruined.
You can bet we're all stacking the deck for the next.
I hacked into building security and was able to recover deleted records of her accessing the Project Dominion prototype. Masako was pretty happy about the results, so she arranged for a small bonus through Linden. Of course, If you think anyone here believes in downtime, forget it. Just watch your back. Not because of me, but because of Ularu. Quantum Synergies specializes in ship operating software. We don't consider them a major competitor since their product line is so narrow.
You should find him somewhere in the plaza. Good luck.
Thanks, Maeve. Sometimes I think corporations harbor the worst people out there. Well, after this conversation, you can head up to your office and see for yourself. Great! A walking HR violation already. If there's anything notable, we'll reverse engineer it, then recreate it with our own spin. I've given you a slate with confidential files on them. I was hoping you'd feel that way. We much prefer the light touch of conversation to the heavy-handedness of threats when we can. And Ularu will probably send every operative she believes capable after me. Now, this meeting is more like it. I admit, I had my doubts that Dalton would believe the evidence, but I'm glad he pulled through. There's always more than one way to get the job done around here. This isn't about innovation. It's about competition. I'm sure if your people skills are as good as you say, then management is well within reach. He's a full package, having both an extremely good knack for numbers and knowing how to talk to people. Exactly. Those lines are most likely to sway Zola and Arthur away from Infinity, not to mention give them a gentle nudge in our direction. We expect our employees to self-manage when it comes to breaks. Ularu used you like she used me, and she'll betray you like you both betrayed me.
The sad truth is, in order to stay competitive, we have to know what our competition is doing, and sometimes that requires a brute force approach.
That's what makes it dangerous. No one would believe it. And then there's Camden, who has the mundane task of overseeing our supply chains. Perhaps I am acting a bit hasty. That's all just talk. Doesn't change anything. She does, doesn't she? You caught her in a good mood. There's my favorite senior operative.
Seriously.
You sound so sure of yourself. Let's hope you're right.
Ha! Ha ha! I knew it!
Just your presence. Showing up unexpected, that puts them off guard, which already gives you an advantage. Good. The more comfortable you can appear in the conversation, the easier it should be for her to buy into what you'll be saying. Benjamin Bayou essentially runs Neon, among other things. The assignment is pretty easy. Besides the operatives who report to me, Yuko oversees our technicians who monitor the competition. I guarantee the third-party company Dalton is using for his security directive Theta won't even notice it. Just make sure your ship is clean before reaching Mars orbit. Remember, Aurora is illegal there, so if you have any on you, it needs to stay here. Just don't let that confidence give you a false sense of security. And remember, no incidents. Your concern is noted, but unfortunately, extreme measures are the only ones that work in a situation like this. I'm not throwing my life away. You're right. I'm letting this betrayal get the better of me.
I hope you're staying out of trouble.
If there's a line, skip it. Tell them you're here for Imogene Salzo, and you should get served right away.
Interesting. And not what I'd expect, all things considered.
I had a feeling you'd be the one to come after me. Exactly. And since you seem to be familiar with him, you probably know how much we don't like to upset him. I thought you'd like to know the execs who you'll be impacting while on the job. Tomo Higashi was a technician here for years. He desperately wanted to be an operative, to put that tech of yours to good use. Operatives simply have fewer restrictions when it comes to getting results. Obsessions like this typically don't have happy endings, do they?
You think you got this? Ha! Think again!
And we aim to keep it that way. That's why we're here, right? Right. Back to business then. The concept here is to vastly improve upon the base design and beat the competitor to market. They're with me, Maeve. Good luck. Obviously, the benefits to Ryujin would be infinite. Depending on their instructions, they can use the remote access to do anything from equipment failure to massive explosions.
Look, you can handle this as you see fit. As long as Bayo is the none the wiser, no harm done. Literally.
Maybe we can work something out. Natural leadership, on the other hand, isn't easy to find.
I'm looking forward to watching her squirm a bit.
I was hoping you would. I'm still going to lay low until I hear the coast is clear. The next time I see you, it better be to tell me the coffee's here. Finally, I assign them to the operative most suited. Yes, and no, but mostly no. Just hear me out, okay? Now, if you need to find yourself a hobby outside of work, to do that, feel free. Just don't let anyone here know about it. We have several methods we use for this, from technology to actual people. Good. Because I'm done talking.
I got you now! I'm going to make your life a living hell after this!
The only reason I even showed up on Ularu's radar is because I wanted to be found. I heard you made quite the scene in the trade tower. Something I explicitly told you we wanted to avoid. Apparently you said all the right things when it came to Arthur. Quantum Synergies actually reached out to us to negotiate a potential deal.
Nina is the Infinity Limited rep. You'll want to swap out her current presentation with this one as a final nail in the coffin.
An excellent question, but enthusiasm can only take you so far. Business executives aren't going to take advice from just anyone. I'm trying to figure out how to help you. Now, I suggest you don't keep her waiting. Ularu's gone to smooth things over, which means favors will be owed.
Apparently, you refused to give him some file you stole off the syndicate, and he's come to us for compensation.
I admit I'm a little jealous, but they got the right person running this assignment.
Oh, I don't think so.
We'll see about that. You're lucky I believe in backup plans. It's not an ideal setting. In that dark hacker pit? No, I have my own safe house set up for times like these. You earned it. So, back to business. Her drive to keep both her name and Quantum Synergies in a positive spotlight have led to several innovations in ship OS software. You're trusting me on this one. Not to cast doubt on myself, but I fully expected to push my persuasion skills to the limit. Now, as far as our late exec is concerned, I'll get Viv working on a narrative about why that shouldn't slow this deal down. Remember, this is confidential. We can't have anyone at CalCorp getting suspicious. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? Oh, and no company tab. We don't mind a few drinks if the job calls for it, but that's out of your pocket, not ours. I was lucky enough to have plenty of connections and favors to abuse in my situation. You're up. It's nice to see your recent experiences haven't soured you on the company. If Dalton really believes I'm involved in this, then I'm on the run. Well, that, and she'll never let me forget it. It's always nice to see the local residents take an interest in us, but I hope that's your sense of humor showing. Not to say we don't have our share of self-important attitudes here. I suppose I can give you a brief rundown. Are you ready to tackle that next assignment? You may have noticed that none of your assignments directly involve murder. Nice words, but they don't change anything. Well, that makes one of us. Oh, Maeve is the personal assistant to both Ularu Chen and Masako Imada. Sure, only most people don't have to kill the baby to get the candy. And the truth is, in this industry, this is about as fair as it gets. Tell her assistant Maeve you have an appointment. I won't be far behind, in case you get lost. Just make this next assignment count. Must be nervous.
While one side of the department focuses on streamlining the region itself, our side is to look outward.
If she's asking for you personally, she doesn't want to leave any room for error. I'm glad you feel that way. It's always interesting to see who dares to make a move on Ryujin in the first place. She is relentless, isn't she? At least she knows when to keep her mouth shut. You'll need to travel to Sidonia to meet up with him. Just look for him above the Lux condos in the plaza. Nobody wants that. I am getting a little sick of looking over my shoulder all the time. Really? Well, this transition may be easier than I thought.
Pretty brave, shooting up an office building.
This coming from a man who was given a job with the Rangers under very suspicious circumstances. Your name is known in some unreputable circles. You've got some tough competition ahead of you then. Better get those leadership skills ready.
Dalton could have taken it a little easier on me, but guess I can't blame him for being thorough.
Instead, Ularu creates the very situation we're in now to make her look bad. The board sees Masako as a risk and votes her out.
Your main goal with them is to plant the seeds of doubt in dealing with Infinity.
You're going to regret this. You're basically removing obstacles from the equation. These assignments are a favorite of Genevieve's. I think she just enjoys watching someone else scramble to clean up a mess. Well, it's not high on my list of travel destinations. Well, don't just stand there. Still, it's nowhere near the amount of assignments I completed before you arrived. You may have no administrative skills, but those are readily learned. Plus, we're pretty good at finding any untapped potential, so if there's a role we know you'll excel at, we'll find it.
Just as I thought.
Don't worry about it. I offered to take care of it myself, but Masako was pretty determined that it be you.
No more coffee errands, but depending on how you look at it, the word errands technically still applies. That's a lofty goal, and one I'd love to see you accomplish, but we'll soon be the judge of that. As for details, I'm not sure. My guess? It's related to something high profile, which means failure isn't an option. So you could say that presentation went perfectly, as far as we're concerned. Hence the bonus. I'm curious if Trident wants to break into the personal ship market. Tayo would give them a run for their money. Exactly. Now go. She's expecting you. Once her numbers didn't match up, Arthur was all over her with questions.
I have a feeling Masako shares your sentiment. However, like it or not, we have to deal with this.
It's possible I may have misjudged the situation. I guess so. Now move it. The boss doesn't like to be kept waiting. So, let's move on, shall we? I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Several other parties will be involved in that deal on a more legitimate level.
Next time, don't get caught.
Now, the buyer likes to keep their associations clean, and will be sending a representative to Laredo in Aquila City for an evaluation. Sorry, I've got orders, you know.
Nice try.
It's a relief. I'll take my desk job over being on the run any day. That doesn't surprise me. This slate holds the evidence to prove my innocence. I just need you to make sure Dalton sees it. This assignment serves as a reminder to all corporations that any actions taken against us will be repaid in kind. Any hint of a security breach and our target goes on lockdown. The keycard will guarantee nothing appears out of place. If you can't manage to get her room key or deal with the door itself, try Boone Morgan, the manager. So, you're saying I owe you? Hello? Well, go on. That keycard isn't going to deliver itself. This next one should be interesting, considering you marked having 0 experience. I'll just have Alexis and Viv apply a little extra pressure. Don't worry. If Ularu ever saw my face again, I guarantee it would be the last thing she saw. And I hope it stays that way. I figured you could put those negotiation skills you mentioned to good use. And judging from your application, I take it that's why you applied. Thanks for the vote of confidence. With Ularu at the helm, Ryujin's sure to be more feared than admired. The next assignment requires a more brute force approach, since the chances of them sharing that information is unlikely. She's with me, Maeve. It'll be on your left. Just keep an eye out for their signature orange chairs. You can't miss it.
Good.
Whenever executives are faced with numbers that don't properly match up, any faith they may have had will falter. I'm sure she wants to put her most valuable asset to good use. Again, this next one should be interesting, considering you marked having 0 experience and no education. It's the only scenario that makes sense. Besides, what's my motive? I hired you because you can get results. Whether or not you want to be fully compensated for them is up to you. What? No, that's not true. And just let you and Ularu get away with everything. I don't think so. Just remember to keep things clean. The results are more satisfying that way. And with the Project Dominion prototype at her disposal, Ularu can guarantee they'll make her the next CEO.
Ah, spoken like a true opportunist.
We need more security!
Hey, are we talking or what?
An operative from another outfit of sorts has found themselves in his crosshairs.
Wrong answer. First order. There's a meeting starting soon, and I need you to pick up the coffee order at Terra Brew. I haven't agreed to anything yet. Natural leadership is a hard quality to find, so be sure to use it to your advantage. Nina is the executive director of marketing at Infinity Ltd. She's mildly competent, but doesn't handle pressure well. I'd suggest a cabinet in the head office. KeltCorp suffered the effects of that silently, although I guarantee they endured some serious client complaints. Think of it as a small price for only one to pay that serves as a deterrent for the rest. Yeah, I hope so. Sure, it's not for everyone, but just think about it this way.
Your contact is Simon Rychek. He's got a good track record for info, but it's his price you'll need to consider.
If you don't want to earn credits, that's up to you. I'd say that's reasonable and not outside the realm of possibility. Innovation isn't their strong suit, so they've found most of their success lately by creating cheaper versions of our own products. You may have the upper hand here. Well, aren't you the resourceful one? Credits it is, then.
See you around.
I feel bad for whoever gets to inform the executives about the theft of something so valuable. The added paranoia isn't doing me any favors.
If you're scared, just give up now.
She wants to be associated with the latest and greatest, so she's drawn to innovation and quality.
Gotcha!
I don't see how. You know how it is. I'm the one you've got to deal with. Like it or not.
Either that or you're a sociopath who had to fulfill a need. And in that case, spare me the details of your personal life.
ARC stands for Assault, Reprogram, Corrupt. We think of it as a multi-tool of sorts.
They're a batball team that sucks. They have about as much chance of winning the Universal Championship as Aurora does of going legal outside of Neon. Don't worry. I'll be right behind you. Nina had a few fumbles, but she recovered quickly.
I always believed that Ularu thought of me as her protege. But all this time, I was just a scapegoat.
Well, look who survived their first assignment. How'd it go? Anything to report?
I wouldn't say I want to. Your job is to make sure that deal fails.
Not into the work gossip, huh? You're probably better off for it. Not to mention you scored big in the reliability department. Body count, regardless of witnesses, is never a good thing.
Let's hope you do. Do you think I'd be here if there was a choice?
I'll be giving you a dossier on both. I strongly suggest you read them for talking points.
There you are!
Try not to make a mess while you're gone.
Sounds like you're ready then.
I'm happy to say that the deal was officially called off. We need absolute discretion on this one. I don't want any SSNN broadcasts about murder in the Astral Lounge. Got it?
So, apparently, we have incurred the wrath of Benjamin Bayou and he must be appeased.
I can't do that. The moment I step in that building, Dalton will lock me up, and Ularu will be on high alert.
Just waiting on you. Those files aren't going to relocate themselves. Get a move on. It's hard to imagine any aspect of her, mentally or physically, being out of place.
Not that I thought I was safe, but I never expected anyone to just slip by all the syndicate here.
Good work. Now I can let Masako know how much she'll enjoy watching the news tonight. It won't buy you a new ship, but it's something.
Good. I'll let our techs know everything is in place. As I was saying, too bad. You've certainly shaken things up around here. I imagine anyone with your unique skill set would be.
If you can't get the key off her, or deal with the door itself, try Boone Morgan, the manager.
Almost just like old times, right?
I'll be giving you a data slate with a file that you'll need to upload through one of their computers.
Let's just hope she keeps her mouth shut on this one. The last thing I need is to be the highlight of office gossip when I get back. I think we can get Viv or Alexis to put the pressure on so we don't lose too much time.
You just need to be mindful of security. If you get caught, it's on you to take care of that situation.
For you, no. No operative is perfect, so we do allow for a certain amount of forgiveness.
We all start somewhere. Think of it as a matter of convenience for today. You're right here, and I need a coffee order picked up. One of our subsidiaries, Arboron, is currently competing for a contract against Laredo.
Just a bit more discretion in the future. Huh?
Of course, it helps having knowledge about the business you're working for, but I trust you'd be a fast learner. I heard the icing on the cake was Nina Hart showing up, looking like hell.
Oh, right. That's why you've been doing assignments for Ryujin all this time. Considering you're the only one with an internal neuroamp, that's no surprise.
In order to stay on top of the market, we have to know what our competition is doing.
A bold answer, even if your application says otherwise. I'll take it.
He's demanding compensation.
This really could be a losing battle.
Thanks. After our last encounter, that's honestly good to hear.
I hope you're more prepared than the last one. I'm the only one at Ryujin with the skills to even come close to being able to pull off a job like this.
Ryujin's profits are 25.7% higher than Infinity's, even with a superior quality product.
Saying goodbye to Ryujin and Neon will be easy. To my apartment, not so much.
In that case, you'd find yourself on one of the best teams in the settled systems.
He wants them dealt with, which in Bayou speak means dead.
All right. Let's see just how good your persuasive skills are. Remember, don't get caught. I'm not backing down from this. Death is quite the penalty for ambition. Not that I disagree.
You're right. It wasn't. But maybe I should have seen it coming.
Nix's contract limits his investigation to Ularu's computer and her network activity. You're not wrong. With her aggressive actions,
I'm sure the board won't be too happy with her either. I won't let you and Ularu get away with what you've done. As for your performance, there is that bit of trouble to account for along the way.
Second, I'm not spending the rest of my life looking over my shoulder for the next field op they'd send after me.
And I know you've heard this before, but take care to not get caught. All in, huh? At least that's an attitude we can work with here. Way to start the day! The obvious answer? Very carefully. Against Ryujin? Not much does. But I'll take what I can get. Aha! A heavy hand is often needed to make sure we get our point across. For you? No. Only Ularu calls me that, and it's not up for negotiation. I'd like to keep this civil. Of course, now she expects if she can do it, anyone can. So her standards tend to be a bit over the top.
Of course they could, but this is for a high-stakes, high-reward job we're looking at here. And the best perk of them all, you're free to make your own hours.
In any case where a threat to success is established, one of us is sent out to create a more desired outcome. Oh, we definitely are. But why stay one step ahead when you can just leave the competition in the dust? In fact, you'd fit right in where some are concerned. But moving on,
the current schematic was sent to their star yard to begin prototyping, so they could be in the office area or the factory floor.
The trade tower is his baby, and the Astro Lounge is the heart and soul. We'll start with Zola.
I heard you're the one I have to thank for getting my life back.
Finally, I recommend dressing appropriately, so I've taken the liberty of having a suit made for you. So, congratulations, you've been promoted. Not bad for your first day, right?
Now, since you were new, you've been dealing with people, but most of our assignments are generated on the mission board.
I hope you enjoyed your little meet and greet.
At this point, I wouldn't doubt it. I can see Genevieve and Alexis cringing over those words.
If you recall, setbacks mean a lot of things for a lot of people. Payoffs, cover stories, cleanup crews. You get my drift. Gladys Coffin is their lead researcher, or architect, as she likes to call herself. When all is said and done, it should be as if you were never there. Need something? It's all very situational, as you'll soon see. Think it over. If you change your mind, though, we'll still be here. Let me know if you have any questions regarding your assignment. Are you finally ready?
Just remember, assignment's more valuable to us alive, so don't do anything you may regret.
If Genevieve and her team had the arsenal you did, I'm certain this problem would never arise. He's willing to help see Infinity pay for what they're doing, so he's given me the key card to his locker. Tomo's appearance was an interesting coincidence. I can see how it may have looked like a test of some sort. Use the information we provide, and chances are high they'll never have a clue. Most importantly here, you've created a world of drama where Bayou is concerned. You think I'm a pushover? Now, on to the next, right?
To reiterate, you stay in this business long enough, you get enough favors and connections that can help you see anything coming.
I just need to make a quick stop by Vina's office to drop this off, and I'll be right up.
I guarantee this prototype they're working on is her design. And Project Dominion is way above my pay grade. It'd be impossible for me to deliver it. At least, intentionally.
Some companies think of high turnaround as a negative, but here, we pride ourselves on it.
Power, of course. Corporations maintain their success by any means necessary, but there are some measures Masako is reluctant to take.
You're being moved from general management over to my department, operations, as a junior operative.
Hey there. Got an update for me? My career is solid at Ryujin. Infinity can't possibly beat my current benefits. Believe me, after having to play double agent, I've learned all of this firsthand. Nice words, but they don't change anything.
I really doubt it.
With your promotion, you've earned yourself an office, so whenever you're ready, you can find your own personal mission board inside. Of course you do, and I'll be ready.
That meeting isn't starting until that Terra Brew order's here. She's considered it, but she's next in line to be CEO over at Quantum.
Subtlety is highly recommended here. Any incidents could severely complicate matters.
Aquila City is the capital of the Free Star Collective, though you'd never guess by looking at it.
That internal neuroamp makes you a unique asset, so it shouldn't come as a surprise.
I'm right here, Maeve. According to Simon Rychek, it's the only real sport in the galaxy.
I'd like to think so. You just need to plant the arc and avoid detection. Our technicians will handle the rest, and they're instructed to avoid as much harm as possible.
Only as common as the flawless assignments you pull off.
Killing you would only be a temporary success. Just go see what she wants and keep both of us out of trouble.
Masako herself went to smooth things over, which means favors will be owed.
Are you ready to reconsider that job?
Most corporations live and die by public perception.
He's going to casually say, looks like the Galactic Raiders are the #1 pick for the Universal Championship this year.
The only load of crap is me being guilty. Think about it.
I mean, obviously your application speaks volumes, and I'm still wondering if this is some sort of joke on Yuko's part.
That's exactly what I've been doing here.
If she came here, she'd have to deal with stiff competition.
This assignment is about making our target look completely negligent in the public eye.
Micah won't grant the money up front. They think people can't be trusted, especially when it comes to credits.
We have an appointment with Ularu. She should be expecting us.
I won't tell Yuko you're challenging her team's abilities.
I worked with Simon a lot in my time as a field op. He's a perpetually grumpy man, but I think he just likes to keep his distance. She's potentially one of the greatest scientific minds in the settled systems right now. Simon is into sports, so he enjoys any opportunity to talk about them. At least this next one will be a break from all the chatter.
If there's anyone that rivals Ryujin when it comes to information, it's Benjamin Bayu.
Good, because there's no end to the assignments coming in.
I still can't believe she set me up. It's already been taken care of. All you need to worry about is the job at hand.
That may be the case, but I can't have Ularu thinking she'll come out of this unscathed.
And believe me, bonuses like this for operatives are few and far between.
I hear you.
It does make things a little more interesting. Luckily, he's not a huge stickler for it, but sometimes we like to give him a hard time.
Getting caught for stealing? It hardly seems worth it.
Don't tell me the mission board isn't keeping you busy.
We just need you to visit their office first and accidentally leave behind some incriminating evidence against their company.
Come to think of it, it also explains a few strange bouts of disorientation I've been having the past few months. Now that you've met a few of the execs, let's get you started. Believe me, I tried to stick up for you, but Lyndon's a real stickler for details.
Lucas Drexler is probably the 5th CEO they've had in the past few years. I don't even want to know why you're here without that order. Clock's ticking, you know.
Just the person I wanted to see.
Besides, payment is based off performance. So let's hear it. How'd that first job go?
In the meantime, I know you don't hear it too often, but thank you. Your assignment is to plant an ARC device. You'll find the Trident Luxury Line star yard orbiting Aquila in the Cheyenne system.
If you haven't already heard the name Benjamin Bayu, you'd better get familiar.
But, as Ularu herself has proven, no one should be trusted with that kind of power. Because if anything were to go wrong while I was in there, not only is my cover blown in the eyes of infinity, but I'm back to being the mole in the eyes of Ryujin. Oh, I'm determined. No way. It's my ass if something goes wrong here.
So, if you're looking to just lounge around, this certainly won't be the job for you. In the meantime, I'll make sure that slate is properly disposed of.
You know what? You're wasting my time. Of course. We believe in risk versus reward here.
As an operative, you should know that Bayu is in control of both the Sioka Syndicate, a group of mercenaries that work within Neon, and Aurora.
Between the incident at the Astral Lounge and you refusing to give him some file you stole off the syndicate, nice move by the way.
Just think of it as a computer that lets you pick and choose your assignments at will, rather than having to deal with me all the time.
Arthur is a self-made man, and he prides himself on that. A fair question. We may have plenty of eyes and ears out there, but I'm still going to need an answer. You'll be speaking with Quantum Synergy's Executive Director, Zola Adisa, and their financial manager, Arthur Cruz.
Yuko. Yuko is the imperator of information. On the good side, she can get intel on just about anything you need.
You do anything to scar that and make a scene, I guarantee it'll come back to haunt us.
Tempting. And Ularu is the one I'm really after.
You'll have to pay out of pocket to get the information, which is why I strongly encourage you to work on those negotiation skills.
I really hope so. Our techs failed to uncover a potential deal between Infinity Ltd. And Quantum Synergies. And I know you don't hear it much around the office, but thanks.
I can't help but wonder if that's why you're here today and not behind bars. Considering your track record, you're the one running the show out there. If you're as good with people as you mentioned earlier, I'm sure that seems like a possibility. Though, Not a very high one. But your application here says otherwise, which I find pretty interesting. So much for the fact-checking portion of the algorithm.
You need to get into an office area of Laredo Firearms and plant the slate where an auditor can find it.
Good luck on this one. Not that you'll need it. Well, thanks to our cleanup crew. It's not like you had a flawless run, you know. Zola may be self-absorbed and superficial, but she's also smart.
Besides, getting caught means security around the schematic will increase, and we'll be back to square one. You know, when they recommend suits for interviews, they're not talking about space suits.
Simon despises Batball, though, which is why he crafted that response you give in return.
Apparently, you bypassed him to get to me, and now he thinks he needs to be compensated.
Don't worry. I've gotten yelled at for worse.
That's the motivational mentality our executives love to hear. You don't scare me.
You can think of this next assignment as a stepping stone on your way to greatness. The deal between Quantum Synergies and Infinity Ltd. went through. So, Masako is pretty unhappy.
What sort of corporation would we be if we didn't take advantage of every opportunity? The board holds any available assignments that our techs have pieced together, and I've approved. Questions?
I think of security the same way too, but don't let Dalton know I said that. Low-grade synthetics, flimsy thin materials, high energy usage, they issue at least 1 or 2 recalls a year.
The way I see it, you need what I'm offering more than I need what you're paying.
So, now that we know you're capable of handling some light cyber mischief, let's try your hand at a little framing. We reverse engineer their plans, create a superior product, and beat them to market.
Yeah. And it'll piss her off, too.
I'm not sure where Masako found her, but the fact that she can keep up with both those women is beyond impressive.
I don't normally do this, but my counterpart, Yuko, is indisposed at the moment, so here I am.
I bet you are. Just remember to keep a low profile. Just keep in mind, business attire is preferred. Club attire would be second to help blend in. So look, since there's a million other things I'd rather be doing than this, not to mention that this isn't even my job, you're hired.
The Trident Star Yard orbits Aquila in the Cheyenne system, so you'll still be in Freestar space.
According to their reports, the combination of talking points plus the distribution that would be caused by the altered presentation gives us a 92.7% chance of success.
As far as I'm concerned, I already have it.
Huh. With that attitude, I think you meant 5 weeks.
Huh. Lessons learned the hard way.
As I was saying, I don't think so. Nice to see I haven't worn you out yet. Your next assignment is to find a security chief and use some creative thinking to obtain their security keycard. Too busy to do your job. Isn't that why you're here?
Trusted products lead to a good reputation, which leads to profits. And, like it or not, we're all here for the profits. The hackers these days keep our people busy round the clock. I can appreciate an honest answer. And if you're hired, you'll be making far more than just a few credits. Provided you're successful, of course. Come on. This is getting boring. It sounds like the two of you could really hit it off. Arthur's a great talker, but even the best can lose an audience when finance is the topic.
I'm not exactly happy with the idea of a giant target on my back. Masako reserves those actions only when it's absolutely necessary. Ularu sees this as a sign of weakness that needs to be dealt with. You're starting to make a lot of sense. So I can stay here and deal with you, or I can go back and deal with her. Which is why I'm hoping you'll take this evidence to Dalton.
Funny thing is, proving that is a different story, so let's just answer the question.
You'll also be getting an altered version of Nina Hart's presentation. Just get what we need. You can find him somewhere in Sidonia's Plaza. Good luck. Finance will reimburse up to 1,000 credits. Any higher, you'll need to use those decision-making skills and negotiate.
Well, that could have gone better.
My words exactly.
Good.
The bad side is that we fellow employees aren't always immune, and Yuko loves her gossip. Trident is bound to have a handful of guards on the lookout. Oh, the best part is we don't even have to fabricate this information. We're just exposing what Laredo would rather keep hidden.
The competition always pays. Heavily. But no one seems to ever learn.
Aren't we all? At least not all assignments require that level of finesse. Hey, don't let it go to your head. Viv and her team operate under far more restrictions than you do. Next time I see you, that coffee better be here.
The Star Yard is a mix of sales floor and manufacturing. If you're looking to blend in, you've definitely got options.
Anyway, we both have work to do. And I think I've reached my socialization quota for the day.
Your main duty is to add influence when necessary to ensure success of the business. Any questions so far? Did you have any questions about your new job before I get into your first assignment? Look, I'd like to help, but
We can't even talk about this?
apparently our algorithm has failed us and believes you to be a decent match, which I'll take up with our technicians later. So, let's get this over with. And I'm certainly not forgiving her for trying to frame me. Perhaps I would have done the same, given the chance. I hope you're more prepared than the last one. Have a seat, and your friend can wait outside. I'm sure they understand. Even Ularu probably deserved the chance to explain herself. Besides, an open collaboration gives us easier access to information we'd otherwise have to find a more clever means of discovering. Try to keep it simple. Get in, get out, and don't get caught. Just the person I wanted to see. You got that schematic? Considering your education, I'm sure you could reasonably find a place in that apartment. It's dusty, dull, and a bit bigger on abiding by the rules since it houses the Freestar Rangers.
It'll take more than that to take me down.
That's up for you to determine. Think of it as the creative aspect of your job. Well, now you have two. Besides, that ID you have for Skylar Lumen isn't going to open any doors. Most days, I'm in complete agreement. That's quite the spacesuit. I'd be impressed if this wasn't a job interview. Oh, and try to be cool. I may have talked you up a bit, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't try to make me look too bad. We have reason to believe that our friends at KeltCorp are trying to hack into our R&D server, since we're both competing for a contract right now. No, it's not that simple. She's a shrewd businesswoman, but an even more talented engineer, responsible for most of their better designs. Filing cabinets, desks. I trust you can be smart about it. You put those skills of yours to good use and choose the right sides, and good luck. Keep it up, and you'll probably have my job soon. And since Yuko isn't here to object, your new position starts right now.
You get to respond with, Razor Derby is the only real sport. Got it?
You should also keep in mind that we have a somewhat symbiotic relationship with him. Bayu is not to be crossed unless approved at the highest level. I really hope so. I can see that. Perhaps you should consider a neuromod in the future. It's been well noted, yes. But now you're officially free to come and go as you please. Let's just say we don't tolerate theft or smear campaigns against us.
Yes, and to think she's still my boss.
I think you're ready to kick things up a notch. I really wouldn't keep Masako waiting.
Between the incident at the Astral Lounge and you bypassing him to get to me, he's demanding compensation.
I know that Tomo Higashi, an ex-employee of ours, accosted you at the Terra Brew, and before you get any ideas, no, the barista didn't sell you out. I've found one or two in a locker or taken one off someone who no longer needed it, if you know what I mean. If you think you have any power of negotiating your pay, think again. Good luck in there. Not that you need it. You say that now, but let's move on to the details. In our industry, the term legal is a bit ambiguous. I should hope so. Considering this is your job, not a favor. Here's the slate we need you to plant. It holds confidential files that'll cast the perfect negative light on our friends at Laredo. I hope you have some good news for me.
He's like a cranky uncle. You'll want to look for him in the plaza. Good luck out there.
But now that's all in the past. It's time to get back to your typical day-to-day. I'm pretty sure all of our field operatives have shared that sentiment at one point.
This is bullshit.
It certainly sounds like it. I'm sure it's nothing you can't handle. A decent excuse, but not the answer I was looking for. The ARC will allow us to frame our competitor for gross negligence and tank the public's perception. Remember, watch your back. We believe if we can get him to think more highly of Ryujin, we may not only be able to stop the deal with Infinity, but also persuade him to work with us. Depending on the situation, it's designed to do all sorts of things, but inevitably, they all result in malfunction. Well, they do say it's healthy to have goals. So who am I to crush that with reality?
I'll take that.
Glad to know what side you're on. Even though I've been emulating Ularu my entire career. If those leadership skills of yours kick in, I have no doubt you will.
Damn it.
I hope you're ready to get back to work. If you think you can do better, you're welcome to it. I suppose I can even provide you with a small allowance. Don't let the Astor Lounge distract you too much. Well, you ruined my life, so I'd say that's pretty personal. Which is why I have every intention of returning the favor. Don't tell me you forgot already. Our financial guru? They're brilliant with numbers. But since we've both come this far, may as well finish this, right? Now we're talking. Not bad for a novice. Believe me, our standards for performance are high enough here that putting in the minimal effort is actually quite the effort. If you want to steal in this industry, you better not get caught.
I guess I never taught you how to reason. Yeah? And I didn't look guilty before based on those files you got from Nix?
Ready to report? Why did I have a feeling you'd bring that up?
But if you want a lesson in sports, just ask him. Movies are more my thing when it comes to entertainment.
Just think of what we do here as standard business practices.
You'll want to speak with the Quantum Synergies reps, Zola Adisa and Arthur Cruz.
I think you may be right. Me too. But I can understand how lackluster they may seem after what you've pulled off. Laredo is probably our biggest competition when it comes to weapon production, which is why this assignment is important. Your next assignment is to remind the competitor of their place in the corporate food chain. You're taking that slate I gave you and uploading a little gift to our friends at KeltCorp. We've changed several figures, just enough to cause sufficient confusion throughout their meeting. Taking a break?
Ularu has the skill to pull this off, but she's also been behind a desk for years now. I knew she'd miss something.
Ulara was joking, for the most part. But if you could pull off a successful assignment on this one, I'd appreciate it.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Of course, we were able to access it, so we fabricated our own with new figures and put it on an Infinity Ltd slate. Like any good corporation, we consider what we do here to be a trade secret. Hopefully she's still in a good mood. Nothing like talking to Ularu on a bad day.
I'm glad you earned enough respect around here for Masako to launch an investigation.
This shouldn't take long. I guess in this industry, it's just a matter of time before your mentor turns on you.
Oh, please. I know Dalton never saw the evidence I gave you.
Perhaps we'll reevaluate your position in the future. Although, you don't seem the type to be content sitting behind a desk.
But if you want a lesson in sports, just ask him. Movies are more my thing when it comes to entertainment. It's well-deserved. Just keep making me look good, and there'll be more where that came from. They're the best operative I've ever hired.
The other recipients are eagerly waiting for you in the conference room.
Think of it as a lesson that KeltCorp gets to learn the hard way. Yuko's team is vital. They're the ones that get the data, monitor surveillance, all that less glamorous work that we base your assignments on. We're looking for someone to fill an entry-level administrative position.
As I already said,
I think you're ready to kick things up a notch. And your timing couldn't be better. We got lucky on that one. Nina was making some last-minute changes to it at her own home and happened to save it to her personal data storage. All's fair as long as you don't get caught. A lesson that KeltCorp is about to learn the hard way.
You know what? You might be... Wait. No. What am I saying? You managed to get Zola on board, but Arthur still wasn't convinced.
Just the person I wanted to see. Deception aside, some of us are impressed by how you handled the situation and would like to try you out in a different role at the company. Here at Ryujin, that's completely up to you. It's not unheard of for someone like you to reach an executive-level position.
Ready to tell me what that holdup was? Watch your back out there.
Aren't we both? This next one isn't as high profile and more under the radar, so it'll be a nice change of pace.
It's a shame, you know? Ryujin would have been successful with either Masako or Ularu, but with Ularu, the shadow it casts will be much darker.
Hardly. This is the standard run-of-the-mill tactic we've come to expect from them. It's good to see you're familiar with and appreciate our work here.
Really? If that was my intent, do you think I'd be standing here? I don't see how. I hope Dalton believes me. You'll see it to the left when you exit the transit station.
Stop trying to confuse me.
I still can't believe of all the people at Ryujin, Ularu chose me to screw over.
I hope those aren't famous last words, but I'll believe you. For now.
Good. It's time for a change of pace, and hopefully put to good use. I'm just doing my job, you know. I'm sure you're on the up and up. Well, this is a familiar situation. I heard you handed over that slate I gave you to Ularu instead of Dalton. Loss of credits can be regained, people can be replaced, but ruin them in the eyes of the public?
But no rest for the weary at Ryujin.
I doubt more talk is going to change my mind.
As for Ularu, things are going to be pretty awkward for her around here.
I'll be giving you a dossier on both. I suggest you read them for talking points.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking before. Well, that wasn't too bad for your introduction. What do you think of Ularu? Not that clean, considering what happened in Keltcorp.
My sources tell me it was a train wreck.
If what you say is true, you'll have department heads fighting over you in no time.
Our team has crafted these dossiers based on psychological profiles, observation, and past history. Neglecting them would be highly irresponsible. I oversee the field operatives such as yourself, while she oversees the technicians here in the office.
If I have to read one more report.
Found you!
Did you forget I was your superior?
Way to end the day!
I can't be sure what she has planned, but if she's involving you, she wants a guaranteed success. Hurry back.
I need to deliver this to Vina so she can start the reverse engineering process, but first, Ularu wants to see you.
We did. But I'd say her latest actions have simplified things quite a bit between us.
That depends on your skill set. My recommendation is to either be quick with your hands or look the part. It's not easy to navigate this mix of betrayal and loss, so I suppose there's a part of me that does. That's what I'm hoping.
You'll be fine. Arthur can carry on a conversation by himself if you let him. Besides, that's why you have the dossier.
Good. Anything else?
It's just a quick assignment.
They're honest to a fault, and often give their opinion on something whether you want it or not. The Infinity Ltd rep is Nina Hart. I'll also be giving you an altered version of her presentation to swap out with the original. I was hoping you'd show up soon. Is it done?
It transmits the signals carried by the hardware to our technicians, where it can be interpreted and then manipulated.
They've launched several, but none survive long. Nothing that would be as big as neuroamps or grav drives. I'm not going to debate right versus wrong here with you because I enjoy my sanity and have better things to do.
Keeping Ularu close is the better move.
She's the best operative I've ever hired. We don't just take anyone for these positions.
I'm not trying to make your life difficult, you know. Have a seat. And your friend can wait outside. I'm sure they understand. I appreciate the notion, but in the future, I'd prefer to handle my own problems. And no, I'm not going to hurt them. I know how to make them see things my way, so Ularu is none the wiser. Well, this is a familiar situation. Now that I'm more of a freelance worker, do you really think I'd do something I didn't want to do?
The sooner you sit down, the sooner we can get this over with. Don't sweat it, though. We can't win them all. But you may want to steer clear of her for now. You get to respond with, Razor Derby is the only real sport. Got it?
Including this job? The art of the deal can go a long way here.
Nice try!
Good. The mission board is generally self-explanatory anyway.
Wow. Really? We keep an extremely close eye on our competition. Thanks to operatives like you, that information is almost always at our disposal. If they can't make money off ingenuity, they can certainly sell someone a cheaper version of a more expensive product they may want.
Given more time and resources, I'm sure I could put together a full case. But right now, neither of those is a luxury that Dalton's going to allow.
Do your best to make sure you aren't seen. The key is to make this look like a malfunction.
I'm sure you can find something for a decent price. Well, it looks like I have some planning ahead of me. If this all works out in my favor, I'll have to work on that.
So let's get this started.
Right, back to business.
Once I'm back at Ryujin, Ularu will be looking to tie up any loose ends.
Just be careful. Getting caught could mean a mess, and cleanup isn't cheap.
Our friends at Kelcor were recently caught on the premises, after hours.
I only hope you're putting that internal neuroamp to good use.
He's the best operative I've ever hired, but at least you got the keycard. So, overall, I'd say not bad for a novice.
I'm starting to believe that. As much as I love your faith in people, a trait like that can get you killed. An internal neuroamp that can theoretically control other people? If the evidence points to me, it's because Ularu used it to set me up.
So, what you're saying is, you blew your cover, which is the only reason excessive measures had to be taken. I haven't even had my coffee yet.
The mission board is more efficient for both of us.
And I'd argue that arts and crafts is exactly what we do here, just on a much higher level.
What the hell is going on?
Good. Luckily, there aren't many besides the usual. Just don't keep her waiting too long. She's a narcissist who's also obsessed with public perception, both of her and quantum synergies. I could say the same. I'm starting to think you're right. I can play this game all day. A fair point. I heard you saw what happened at the clinic. Amir is aware of the situation and wants to see Lucas and Faye go down for it. I was hoping you'd feel that way, considering you said as much earlier in your interview. Here's the data slate. Good luck. There you are. Hey, we're not done yet. Good work. R&D's been looking forward to this one.
Can this day move any slower?
Why do you consider yourself qualified for a job like this? I warned against a murder headline, but massacre would have been more appropriate. That's what I need you for. I didn't come here just to hide. I needed to use the Seoka's resources to build my case. Call it what you want, but it's your job nonetheless. It's way more cost-effective. I'm going to stay here and lay low until I know where Dalton and Masako stand. Don't tell me you're intimidated by a little office chair. Now, where were we?
They're a bat-ball team that sucks. They have about as much chance of winning the Universal Championship as Aurora does going legal outside Neon.
If I had any interest in disappearing, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Give them a moment, exit the elevator, hang a right, and follow the wall to your left. You can't miss it. Wow, I gotta love that answer. Almost as much as I love being stuck in this position, this is truly the highlight of my day. Shouldn't you be working? Boone appreciates credits, if you know what I mean. You're a natural. I'm not just saying that because I hired you.
If he suspects his life's in danger, he'll bolt and won't resurface until he knows the coast is clear.
If others knew and could mimic our actions, it would take away our edge. So, if Ryujin keeps this tech a secret, suddenly every deal, every legal matter, every little thing is going to go their way. Don't get bent out of shape. Uploading a few files, manipulating a narrative or two, obtaining schematics, it's just more of the same. Quantum Synergies and Infinity Ltd. Will lick their wounds, brief replacements for their dearly departed, and simply reschedule. What? To climb the corporate ladder? Because you still think you'll be running the place in 5 years. Please. 10+ years. Sure. On paper, no one wants to clean up a mess. It takes a toll on several departments, which is why we like to promote a clean assignment. It's not too far. In Akila's orbit, so hopefully your ship's ready. You've still got quite a ways to go, so let's keep it real and get back to basics. Ryujin has enough connections in Neon that an incident like this would never slip by. Once you finish talking to everyone, come back to my office, and I'll give you your next assignment. We'll just let them finish up. 5 successful standard assignments, and 1 specialized. Crafting that perfect answer? That's what we're hoping for. This is why Ryujin makes the effort to keep their employees happy. You never know when one will turn on you. The whole idea of rebooting my life is just a pain that I don't want to deal with. It's your choice. Do you want the truth? Or do you just want to be Employee of the Month? Full disclosure? It's all about making deals with the right people around here. I'm sure you just did your homework before the appointment, right? But let's move on. Fine. You've convinced me, sure. I'd like to think this job would be a walk in the park, but I'm not willing to risk it. Not after I've regained the confidence of Masako and Dalton.
You're going to regret this.
So, what's it going to be, Up? Are you going to help me, or teach me another failed lesson in trust? Tie that in with manipulating people who are the equivalent of their boss's boss. Most junior-level ops would start to show their cracks. Not quite. When you uploaded that virus onto KeltCorp's network, that was a warning intended to slow down their internal productivity. Hey, we're not finished here. You're wasting my time. It doesn't guarantee complete control, but it gives us enough room to be dangerous. Remember, the Star Yard is part sales department, so there will be civilians. Only thing is, your work wasn't exactly pristine, and we were forced to deduct damages from your pay. We're looking for optimal results, which won't be achieved by luck alone. A pretty knowledgeable answer for someone who claimed to have no familiarity with Ryujin and our product lines. Maybe we can still work something out. You want evidence? I've got it. If you think lingering around here is going to win points, Think again. This may be through a conversation or presenting some new information. A few words of wisdom? Don't get caught.
I would have been here sooner, but I had to drop off something for Vina on the way.
He's with me, Maeve. The inspection will be similar to an audit. These things are usually pretty thorough.
Now, get going.
Yuko is our senior technician specialist. I suppose you can say she's my equivalent.
Gladly.
Let me give you the details. You'll see.
You're not wrong. Believe me, we don't take these assignments lightly. I don't want to hear any news about bounties or bodies coming out of Aquila City.
Nice helmet. Very appropriate for a job interview.
Infinity Ltd is one of our aspiring competitors. They have products in several similar fields, ships and neuroamps being the exception. On a probationary period, of course. Correction. You are going to steal from them. Don't forget, if you get caught, Ryujin will deny all knowledge. If you're running into trouble, handle it. How hard can it be? But most importantly, you've created a bit of drama where Bayu is concerned. Remember, same rules apply. Don't get caught, and don't make a mess.
The cleaner your work, the more intact your payments stay. I'm sure you understand. This slate holds all the evidence against her. I just need you to deliver it to Dalton. It's the only way I can prove I'm innocent.
Hiding. It's just a matter of time.
Sure, why not?
I've upgraded your security level so you can access the executive floor, where her office is. These assignments aren't the most exciting, but it's the aftermath that's fun to watch.
Are you kidding me with that costume? Just when I thought this day couldn't get any worse.
Thanks to an overworked cleanup crew. Let's face it, you left quite the mess back there. You're just delaying the inevitable.
Extremely dangerous and way too powerful for human consumption.
If you've got some morality issues, this definitely isn't the job for you. You either need to learn this city or how to deal with distractions. So, what was the holdup?
The schematic will be either in their offices or potentially kept somewhere on the factory floor.
Your past is not a concern, for now. Just know that we have ways of keeping an eye on you around here.
So, what made you change your mind about Ularu?
I'm just going to take your answer at face value. This is getting interesting to me. Don't worry. We have people specifically focused on success probability.
Now, where was I? Nothing you aren't already familiar with.
I like to recommend something fun or shiny and new.
Ularu wants Masako gone, but she doesn't have a legitimate reason to get the board to fire her.
As Quantum Synergy's financial manager, he's all about driving profit with as little risk as possible. He makes decisions based on facts and heavily researched trends. We do like to put our best foot forward when it comes to representation.
You can talk up Ryujin at the same time if you feel inclined. Just try not to make it too obvious of a promotion if you do.
If this is your way of getting things done, I'd love to learn your strategy sometime.
No, only within the tower. The security risk would be far too much to allow access to that data in a public space. I won't forget it. And I have a feeling you wouldn't let me anyway. Don't worry. It's just the paranoia around the high-stakes assignment.
No corporation wears murder well around here. We may take some extreme measures, but the less mess, the better. Careful what you say in some areas of Sidonia. The people can be touchy. And just so you know, getting caught for both murder and theft impresses no one. We can't allow them to win the contract, nor can we allow the action to go unpunished.
You're right. Maybe I'll escape corporate culture altogether. There's something appealing about a simple life. There's nothing to talk about. I've already made myself clear. I wasn't finished.
We make the initial profit with less investment in R&D, and our competition is forced to reevaluate if their product is even viable. She's smart. Climbed her way up to Chief Operations Officer all by herself. You never know when life will take a turn. Especially in this line of work. Infinity's profits are fabricated. They're one audit away from ruin.
You may think so, but I don't.
At some point, he'll casually say, "Looks like the Galactic Raiders are the #1 pick for the Universal Championship this year."
I thought I'd find you here. I have been stuck behind a desk lately.
I'd still highly recommend reading the dossiers, though. Sometimes bullet-pointed statements can stick out in minds easier than conversation.
Remember, don't get caught.
It didn't take long for her to break composure, and that's when she lost Zola. The important thing to remember with Maeve is to be direct. She despises small talk.
I just figured after our last confrontation, things may have changed a little.
No one loves Ularu more than Ularu. It's all being taken care of as we speak. Well, what's fun for you is a pain in the ass for the rest of us, so next time, maybe think about your fellow co-workers. Veena Kalra is the head of research and development. Just remember, if anything does happen, it's up to you to bail yourself out. Excuse me, a family man, good work ethic, probably never worked a minute of overtime in his life.
These guards aren't the type to leave their keycards just lying around, so you'll have to get creative on this one.
Sometimes obtaining a legitimate form of access is preferred over brute forcing it. Now, that's what I like to see. Just put it on the counter in the lounge. If businesses truly cared about their bottom lines and reputations, they wouldn't mess with Ryujin in the first place. This will be the last anyone hears of Imogene Salzo. You must be losing your touch. Now, let's get this over with. Seriously? Now I get to let the in-office team know that the ball is in their court. Quantum Synergies is the top name in ship OS. Their reputation has allowed them to keep the best engineers on their payroll. What better way to frame someone than to take control of their mind and have them actually perform the actions? It's nice to see someone take an interest in the legal side of cybersecurity. But I hope you enjoy a challenge. Apparently our algorithm felt you were a decent match. Yes, it's what the technology does, and it explains why the evidence against me is so solid. Otherwise, believe me, we have enough people that easily volunteer for the task. Not a single setback. Huh. I knew you were going to be perfect for this job. And I'd say it's good to be back if I hadn't returned to a mountain of paperwork. I can see that.
The only reason you'd keep it is to either hold it over Ularu or make a deal with her.
Oh, I think you know. When it comes to acquiring things, we prefer killing to be a last resort. Now, let's get that coffee delivered. I'll gladly take mine. And since Yuko's still a no-show, feel free to keep hers. Ularu's waiting. Even if you didn't get caught, there's still a mess to clean up. Incidents aside, I think you're ready to kick things up a notch, and your timing couldn't be better. Let's find out, shall we?
Did you just...
Now, your handling of the situation is going to slow things considerably. I still can't believe Ularu tried to frame me. An obvious misjudgment on my part. I heard you're responsible for Ularu. You have people to meet, and they're waiting. Really? You know those decisions are typically made personally by Masako, blinded by rage. She always did know how to push a person's buttons, so I'm not surprised. Oh, yes, I'm sure you missed your old boss. We'll see how many of those favors come back to haunt me later. And if you want to tarnish our good name, you better be ready for repercussions. I recommend taking a moment whenever you feel that stress may be getting the better of you. For some, this order is the highlight of the day, so try not to ruin it. I can see how you might view it as a harsh punishment, but a corporation never learns from a slap on the wrist. I get the sad job of sorting through the files that our technicians have put together, so I can prioritize them according to departmental needs. Masako Imada is our current CEO. If you ask me, she's the perfect embodiment of what Ryujin represents. Take your time. If negotiating is your thing, I'd say you'll be well beyond management. Don't tell me. Tell her. As for your little surveillance team, I'll take care of them. Let's give Ularu some space.
That's not yours.
That remote access device is a pretty hefty little number. Nothing beats our R&D team. If you can make any deal happen, management is just the tip of the iceberg. My job is to oversee the field operatives such as yourself, but at least you got that keycard, right?
We've kept it strictly business so far, but I'm sure a tipping point is fast approaching.
Oh, but before I forget, the results of your Astral Lounge escapades are in. It will at least change things for Ularu, and my situation is already at its worst. On a probationary period, of course. Especially considering this criminal record of yours. It does make things a little more interesting. Luckily, he's not a huge stickler for it, but sometimes we like to give him a hard time. If you don't like the suit, I highly recommend wearing something appropriate. It's always something! Hey, not everyone has the arsenal that you do. And even if they did, they wouldn't be allowed to use most of it. Try not to linger too much. It's not a good look. Laredo is run by Raisha Lance. don't be surprised if you see her running the storefront or let her appearance fool you. She's the main one that Infinity Ltd will be looking to impress. Well, you work here, don't you? So, yeah, you probably would. It makes this next assignment seem a bit lackluster, but it still carries weight.
Good. Until next time. All right. I'm willing to hear you out. Remember, don't trust anyone.
I'm not your target! Damn it!
I'm still listening.
Well, lack of college doesn't mean lack of creativity, so that's not completely unreasonable. If it's not on her person, it will be in the suite she has reserved. Suites are patrolled, so she'll believe it's secure. Anyway, back to business at hand.
Ularu set me up. Yes, I've been acting as a double agent, but because she ordered me to. The assignment was meant to deceive, not benefit.
I know it's not the most glamorous of tasks, but hey, you got the job, right? Spoken like a true Ryujin employee. Zola is a born and bred executive. It runs in the family, so she's highly accustomed to an upper-class lifestyle.
You do that. Masako was very pleased with the outcome, so she arranged the bonus through Linden. Exactly. You're just a regular employee. Clothing stores, of course. I recommend visiting Aito in the lobby or the Emporium. A security chief isn't going to give the time of day to just anybody. A nice suit should do the trick.
And don't worry about it being in UC territory. Simon's smart, so any physical information he may hand off to you won't set off any alarms.
Don't you have somewhere to be?
The Astra Lounge can be overwhelming for some, with all its bells and whistles.
This isn't getting us anywhere.
Interaction is part of the gig.
Of course. Always looking out for number one, right?
Masako's looking for you. I suggest you head up to her office.
Is that what made you change your mind about Ularu?
Or, who knows, some operatives are known to have a security guard uniform or two in their closet they can rely on.
Some of our resources are contracted out, and others are right here in our department. You'll find him in Sidonia, so I hope your ship's fueled. Just look for him above the Lux condos in the plaza.
As I was saying, we caught KeltCorp trying to hack into our R&D server.
Are you even listening? I hope that coffee is still hot considering the time it took you to get it.
Assuming she's using an Infinity Ltd slate is a bit of a gamble, but one we're willing to take. Great. A full spacesuit. Corporate environments aren't that toxic.
Good. This one should be easy to pull off. Arthur Cruz is the financial manager at Quantum Synergies. He's a stickler for details, unlike you. Hey, hanging around here isn't going to earn you any points, so you better get moving.
I know I'm putting Dalton in a tough position, but at least if he doesn't believe me, he has plenty of reason to doubt Ularu now too.
I hope you're ready to get back to it, since I have your next assignment.
Yes. It's not the most appealing situation. Just be mindful of your time. This job requires a clear head. I wish I could say it's been a pleasure.
Our boss is Ularu-chan, but you'll be reporting to me for the time being.
Well, that's a blunt answer. I think... No. Stop it. You're trying to confuse me. I reached out to a disgruntled colleague of mine since, as far as Infinity Ltd is concerned, I technically still work there. I do like the idea of Ularu not getting her way.
She has the corporate style and class we like to project, along with the cunning and intelligence you'd expect from a leader.
You managed to get Arthur on board, which is a challenge in itself, but Zola still wasn't convinced. Caution is key.
Damn it! You're supposed to listen!
Enjoy being her lapdog while it lasts.
Remember, Simon's got value around here, so try to stay on the friendly side. That hangover you induced really did a number on her, and had her too unfocused to tell the Quantum Synergies reps what they wanted to hear.
That doesn't belong to you.
Well, at least you have some skill of value here. You certainly will. As long as Ularu is in charge. I don't think so. Good.
Nice to see you don't need any extra motivation. Not all of our operatives are thrilled with the idea of these assignments.
We just need some easy access to competitor security.
But sadly, no. We had nothing to do with that, besides initially firing him. Laredo has their own building, unlike KeltCorp, so at least there's only a single layer of security to deal with. Only that it's vastly different than Neon. There's not glitz and glam where Sidonia is concerned.
It's a decent start, but we'll see.
We can talk further outside the office. It'll be quick.
I'm glad you understand the position I'm in here.
Keltcorp will think twice after this. This next assignment requires a bit more discretion for 2 reasons. Don't try to hide behind a compliment. You should have seen some of the face-offs she had with Alexis and Genevieve. Have a seat. I only assume it must have some level of importance. We have a history of being financially secure that's never wavered. And we have the legal and marketing teams to handle anything that might threaten that. Waving a weapon around isn't going to get this over any faster.
You really are naive when it comes to corporate culture.
You probably won't be running the place, but you'll be right next to the one who does. If all goes well, next time I see you, it'll be back in the office.
It just so happens that Simon despises Batball as a whole, hence the response you give.
I've gotten to work with Simon on several occasions. He's quite the character. Maybe so. Ularu can be a little overly harsh at times. But don't take it personally. No more interruptions, I hope. Now let's see. And when I say creative, I don't mean with a weapon.
Well, that didn't go as planned.
Today, coffee. Tomorrow, the world. You're either a bit too modest or smart enough to put in a little research before coming here.
Masako wants to see you. So, you've gotten caught in the past. Now's the time to make new habits.
All right, just to get a few things straight here. I'm Imogene Salzo, Senior Operations Specialist here at Ryujin Industries.
We don't want to give Trident any fuel for accusations, lawsuits, or retaliation when that happens. I look forward to your results.
I suppose an outsider might think that. But we prefer to handle incursions like this in-house. Well, you've certainly come to the right place for that. That's why they've taken to just following whatever trends companies like Ryujin set. I was hoping you'd say that.
So, tell me, what made you change your mind about Ularu?
Good. This next assignment could be a little more flexible than the others. I know it doesn't look good, but that's exactly why I've been gathering my own evidence.
I'd hurry if I were you. Some people can get really sensitive about their beverage temp.
That's a hard uphill battle that no one's going to forget.
Just remember, she's not only our boss, she's the head of the entire operations department here.
Oh, she didn't tell you? Why am I not surprised?
The Ark is a specially engineered tool designed to let us take control of any system within its detection radius. Something tells me you aren't joking. I like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character. Those negotiation skills are a pretty good advantage. But it's going to take a lot more to reach the top around here. I'm sure they'd think it's a way to get noticed or stay relevant. We don't operate on passion alone here. We look for skill. Which brings me to my next question.
Start over, right? And before you ask, I'm not giving you any details about my contingency plans.
Getting close to people isn't a luxury he can afford in his line of work. Much like ours.
See you soon.
Lucky for you, there'll be no docks in pay today. Just try to be more careful in the future.
You don't think I've kept up my training?
I can see that. Just another fun fact to bring up with Yuko. But moving right along. I heard you'd exercised that creative license, only not the way I'd hoped. Got that key card for me?
Hold on. You're trying to confuse me, aren't you? Sorry, but I can't. We like to keep a close eye on any new tech they may have in the works, just in case it may prove useful. Overall, not bad for your first high-profile assignment. You even earned yourself a bonus, which Lyndon was more than happy to give.
Fairly easy, so you shouldn't be able to screw it up. An excellent question, especially since when asked how familiar you were with Ryujin, you answered, not at all. Well, it seems we have quite the disaster on our hands.
You'll have to tell her that yourself.
According to Simon Rychek, it's the only real sport in the galaxy.
In the case of servers, it could be gross information leaks, a hardware failure. Basically, whatever might hurt their public perception the most.
Have fun.
Ularu loves to remind people how expendable they can be.
You might be right. A new life does have its appeal. Don't mistake being reasonable for being a pushover.
It was only a matter of time before one of those theories proved wrong, and once we launched an investigation, it was all over for him.
I really doubt it.
Your handling of the Tomo situation has caught some attention, and we'd like to try you out in a different role at the company.
Of course. But first you have to understand, she used me to play an unwitting part in this, so I'm the one that takes the fall.